So if you're creating a new nominal code, we were in here a second ago, you can see, much like every other screen, it comes mostly empty. So I can create a new code. If I wanted to, I can create a cost center or department against it. So I can use ADM, or I could use BES. Rule of thumb again with creating accounts with cost centers and departments is having an account with the same number without a cost center as well in case of any mispostings. So in this case, I'll not bother putting any on. Okay, so I can go in and put a name in here, so I can call it other assets. Again, you've got your active status. So if you remember on our cash book, you had a drop down within the accounts, and for sales and purchase ledger, you could amend the status. But again, you can make this account as hidden. So for example, if you're creating a whole bunch of new codes, you don't want people to select them by mistake, you can hide them, and you can go in and use the amend account to select it, just so you can keep on working on these codes without people kind of touching them by error. Or of course, when you're amending the accounts and it's an account you no longer use, you can hide it. Okay, posting account, group accounts, and memos accounts. These are three different types of accounts that you can use in Sage 200. A posting account is your day-to-day account where you're going to be posting things to. You're going to be, obviously, again, all your balances are going to go to for your reporting and for your obviously your financial figures. Group accounts basically are to do with grouping together a range of accounts on reports. So we'll come off of here for a second and I'll show you on the screen because it's a bit easier to explain it when you can see it. So if you see on the trial balance, what you've got is levels of grouping within the report. So you can see here, I've got a group for 081. That means everything starting 081 will be grouped together and totaled. So you can see in here, it's grouping everything together. So this is just another way of structuring the report to keep things together and balancing things into a different place. Okay, so back into here, and we'll do other assets again. We've then got a type of account called memo. Now, memo account is say it's rarely used. Some people use it, but it's basically an account which you would put things in, like balances in, if you weren't sure where they were going to go to. So really, it's just going to be a holding account in one way or another, just so it keeps the figures in there without affecting any kind of balances. It can be reported on, it may not be reported on depending on how your system's set up, but most people don't use it these days. So as I say, it's not really something we'll go into in too much depth. Okay, report categories. Again, this is where we go in to select our report category we just saw a second ago. Then the three tick boxes underneath. Now, we've already mentioned one of them before, which is the allow manual journal entries. If that's ticked, it will let you select the account to raise a journal against it. If you untick this, basically when you do a journal, it will not let you select the account to do a journal on. Now, what you don't want is people to be doing journals on your debtors control or creditors control or your bank accounts. So that's one of the reasons why it's quite important on those kind of accounts to not tick this box. Batch postings, again, not many people use it. Long time ago, when we used to have the retail module, we used to have supermarkets as a customer. So basically, I think it's a Chinese supermarket when I was at Sage. Basically what it was, they was putting through a lot of small priced items in a day. So rather than having a nominal code with 100,000 transactions in for a month or however many it was, the batch postings would have then put all the transactions in as one figure. So when you, for example, had your waiting postings, if your updated waiting postings, rather than putting in 100,000 transactions, you put one transaction in, which may be good in some respect, but you lose the reportability of those individual transactions if you post with this tick box ticked. And I've seen people have this ticked by mistake before, and it says, well, hang on a second, I've got a journal where it says that it hasn't got another side of it, but that's because it's set as a batch posting and it doesn't know, it can't see the other side because it's all been grouped together as one transaction. So again, if you're going to use that, use it with caution, but it's usually don't use it type of tick box. It's there in case you did need to use it. Display account balances nominal selection box. Basically, when you're doing a transaction or when you're looking at the list view, it will depend on whether your balance is showing on the list or when you're dropping the list down. So to show that point, you can see on my screen here, all my account balances are 0. If I amend this and tick that box, then I refresh the screen, it puts the balance in. This is just in case, for example, if you need people to see the nominal list, but you don't want them to see the account balances, and it's only going to be, you know, things that you're going to be aware of from your reporting, you can hide the balances so it all shows as 0. So also when you're doing transactions, it's whether you can see the balance in the drop down when you're selecting the accounts as well. Because of course, if you've got employees who don't want to see balances, of course that would normally be unticked, so you wouldn't see it in the drop down or on the list view. Okay, so you've got the keep transactions for X number of calendar months. Basically, within Sage 200, you have the option of current and historic transactions, where you can archive transactions that are older than a certain number of months. This is just going to basically be a setting, which is a nominal code by nominal code setting as to how long it's going to keep transactions for. When you do an archive, it will archive the transactions and it will forcibly keep transactions, in this case, that are 6 months old. Usually the rule of thumb is 12 months. It depends, because obviously most customers we have a year-end service where we create a year-end company, so it has all the transactions in the year-end company. Completely up to you. Consolidated accounts for consolidation. So again, if you're using a group company that's going to consolidate 3, 4, 5 different child companies into it, if the nominal code in the group is different to what it is in the child, then of course you can go through and select what the parent's nominal code is.